Welcome back to sz2 of WWTube. Next up, the USA. Purchases will be 1 battleship, 3 tanks, 3 infantry, and 2 bombers. The total cost of 71 IPCs, all spent. Combat. 2 combat moves. First of all, there will be an attack in France. Everything from Normandy, Bordeaux, being 3 infantry, 2 mech and 2 tanks, will move into France. From southern France, 2 infantry and 1 tank will also move into France, leaving behind 3 infantry and 2 AA guns in southern France. And second of all, this bomber in the UK will move 1, 2, 3 and 4 to to launch a strategic bombing raid against Germany. We'll have 3 movement left afterwards. Let's go ahead and resolve these battles. Okay, here is the battle for France. Starting out with 7 dice at 1 or less for the 5 infantry and 2 mech. We have 3 hits. Pretty good. And now 3 tanks at 3 or less. Two more hits. So 5 hits total scored by the Americans. Returning fire, we will have 4 infantry and 2 artillery, so a total of 6 at 2. Of course the AA guns don't roll because I haven't brought any aircraft with me. So let's see how many the Germans can bring home with them. We have 2 hits. Okay, so I will remove first of all 2 casualties for those 2 hits and 3 hits. So 3 infantry removed and 2 AA guns for Germany. I'm presuming this is what Heim would want to do in this case. So 2 hits scored against the Americans will of course be infantry. I will now retreat. Everything will retreat to Normandy, Bordeaux. So I will place back into France 1 infantry unit and 2 artillery units. Southern France, Normandy, Bordeaux will have 3 infantry, 2 mechanized and 3 tanks. Right. And now we can move on to the second part of my combat phase, this bombing raid against the capital, Germany. First of all, of course, we roll for 1 AA gun. Here we go. 1 AA gun, rolling at 1. A 4, thank goodness for that. Now the American bomber flies over, drops its bombs and scores 4 damage. 4 damage scored against the German capital, Berlin. Moving on to non-combat. So this bomber has 3 movement left. We'll move 1, 2 and 3 into Normandy, Bordeaux. Okay, forgive me. We have 4 transport ships in C-Zone 105 rather. These are in here. The 4 transport ships in C-Zone 105 will move 1, 2 and 3 into C-Zone 102. We also have a transport in Sea Zone 103 that will move into Sea Zone 101. We have a cruiser and a destroyer in Sea Zone 105. Actually, you have 2 destroyers. Only one of the destroyers will move along with the cruiser. So 1 cruiser, 1 destroyer from Sea Zone 105 moving into Sea Zone 91. There will be 1 remaining destroyer in Sea Zone 105 which will not move. 4 transport ships in Sea Zone 91 will pick up 4 infantry and 4 tanks from Morocco and move into Sea Zone 105, dropping them into Normandy, Bordeaux. Okay, next up we have the fleet in the Med. Everything will move into Sea Zone 91, being 2 aircraft carriers with 2 fighters and 2 tactical bombers. We have a cruiser, we have a destroyer, 2 subs, and 4 transport ships. They're all 4 of the transport ships are going to move into Sea Zone 91. But one of them along the way is going to move into Sea Zone 94, pick up that mech in Tunisia, drop it into Gibraltar, and carry on its merry way into Sea Zone 91. The fleet in Sea Zone 101, we have a cruiser and a destroyer. They will move into Sea Zone 91, along with 3 transport ships, which will pick up 3 infantry, 2 artillery and a tank and drop them into Gibraltar. And finally, there is a destroyer in Sea Zone 96. This will move into Sea Zone 98. Place units now. 2 infantry and 1 tank will be placed into southern France. 2 bombers and 1 tank will be placed into Normandy, Bordeaux. And 1 battleship will be placed into Sea Zone 101, along with an infantry and a tank. The United States is at 45 IPCs. We'll collect an additional 20 for controlling the eastern and central United States, plus an additional 5 for controlling these 3 territories. So as per usual, we'll collect an additional 25. So that brings up the total to 70 IPCs collected for the USA this turn. And next up, the UK. We shall do a quick recap of the board as well, of course. Okay, everything is pretty much tidy again. So here's the recap of the board. Starting out over here in eastern US, 1 infantry and 1 tank, Sea Zone 101, 1 battleship, 1 transport. Sea Zone 102, 4 transports. Sea Zone 91, 2 aircraft carriers with 2 fighters and 2 tacticals, 2 subs, 3 destroyers, 2 cruisers. I ended up actually leaving one of the cruisers over there, and 3, 6, 7 transport ships. In Gibraltar, we have 3 infantry, 1 mech, 2 artillery, and 1 tank. Southern France, 5 infantry, 1 tank, 2 anti-aircraft guns. Normandy, Bordeaux has 3 bombers, 7 infantry, 8 tanks, and 2 mech. Sea Zone 105 has 4 transports, 1 cruiser, 1 destroyer. sz 98 has 1 destroyer. And that's it for the US pieces. Next up, UK.